The rain hammered against the windows of our small cottage in the Cotswolds, mimicking the tempest brewing inside me. Barnaby, a carpenter by trade, had always found solace in the rhythmic tap of rain, but tonight it was a cruel reminder of the tears I couldn't shed. I was 43, and up until a week ago I believed I had it all: a loving wife, a comfortable home, and a fulfilling career crafting bespoke furniture. My wife, Isolde, was a solicitor, sharp-witted and ambitious. We'd met at a local pub quiz 10 years prior, her encyclopedic knowledge of obscure historical facts instantly captivating me. She was everything I wasn't: articulate, confident, and driven. I adored her, perhaps even put her on a pedestal. The first crack in our seemingly perfect facade appeared subtly. Isolde started working later, attending more networking events, and her phone became an extension of her hand. I brushed it off as work pressure, the demands of her high-powered career. I even took pride in her success, oblivious to the truth that was slowly unraveling. Then came the business trip to London. Isolde was supposed to be gone for 3 days, attending a legal conference. I remember driving her to the train station, the scent of her lavender perfume lingering in the car long after Shed departed. Shed kissed me goodbye, a peck on the cheek, and promised to bring me back a souvenir. That was the last normal moment I could recall. 2 days into her trip, I received a cryptic text from an unknown number. "Your wife isn't at any conference. Check the Grand Majestic Hotel, room 304. My heart lurched. I dismissed it as a prank, a cruel joke. But the seed of doubt had been planted, and it festered with each passing hour. Against my better judgment, I drove to London the next morning. The Grand Majestic was a grand affair, all marble floors and chandeliers. I felt out of place in my worn jeans and flannel shirt. Swallowing my pride, I approached the reception desk. "Excuse me," I stammered. "I'm looking for my wife, Isolde. She's staying here for a conference." The receptionist, a young woman with a bored expression, typed something into her computer. "Yes, Mr. Barnaby. Barnaby Finch." She looked up, a flicker of something I couldn't quite decipher in her eyes. "Mrs. Finch checked out this morning." "Checked out? But her conference isn't over until tomorrow." "She checked out with a Mr. Caspian," the receptionist said, her voice devoid of emotion. "They left around 10 a.m. Caspian." The name hit me like a physical blow. Caspian Thorne was a senior partner at Isolde's firm, a man I'd met briefly at a Christmas party. He was everything I wasn't: polished, wealthy, and oozing an unsettling charm. I thanked the receptionist, my voice barely a whisper, and stumbled out of the hotel. The London air felt thick and suffocating. I found myself wandering aimlessly, the city noise a blur around me. I ended up in a small park, sitting on a bench beneath a weeping willow, the weight of the revelation crushing me. Isolde, with Caspian. It couldn't be true. She wouldn't do that to me. We were happy, weren't we? We had a good life, or so I thought. The next few days were a blur of disbelief and denial. Isolde returned home, acting as if nothing had happened. She presented me with a cheap keyring from London, a pathetic attempt at fulfilling her promise. I couldn't bring myself to confront her. I was paralyzed by fear, clinging to the hope that it was all a misunderstanding. But the truth has a way of surfacing, no matter how hard you try to bury it. A week later, I was sorting through some paperwork when I stumbled upon a hidden folder on our shared computer. It was password protected, but with a little persistence, I managed to crack it. Inside, I found a series of emails between Isolde and Caspian. They were explicit, intimate, and filled with promises of a future together. The emails spanned several months, detailing secret rendezvous, stolen moments, and a growing affection that chilled me to the bone. They painted a picture of a woman I no longer recognized, a woman capable of such profound deception. One email in particular stood out. It was dated the day Isolde was supposed to be at her conference. "Darling Caspian," it read, "I can't wait to spend the weekend with you. I've told Barnaby I'm at a conference, but you know where my heart truly lies. Forever yours, Isolde." That was it, the final nail in the coffin, the last shred of hope extinguished. I sank into my chair, the emails blurring before my eyes. The pain was a physical ache, a crushing weight in my chest. I felt like I was suffocating, drowning in a sea of betrayal. That night I confronted Isolde. I laid out the evidence, the emails printed and scattered across the kitchen table. She initially denied it, her eyes wide with feigned innocence. But as I read aloud excerpts from her love letters to Caspian, her facade crumbled. "It's not what you think," she stammered, her voice trembling. "Then what is it, Isolde?" I demanded, my voice raw with emotion. "Tell me the truth," she finally confessed, the words tumbling out in a torrent of guilt and regret. She claimed it had started as a harmless flirtation, a way to alleviate the boredom of our routine. But it had quickly escalated into something more, a passionate affair that she couldn't control. "I never meant to hurt you, Barnaby," she sobbed. "I still love you." Her words were hollow, meaningless. How could she claim to love me while betraying me in such a profound way? The woman I thought I knew, the woman I had built my life around, was a lie. "I want you to leave," I said, my voice cold and detached. "I want you out of my house, out of my life." She pleaded with me, begging for forgiveness, promising to end the affair. But I was done. The trust was broken, the damage irreparable. I couldn't stay with a woman who had so callously disregarded my feelings, who had so willingly shattered our vows. Isolde moved out the next day, taking with her a suitcase full of clothes and a lifetime of memories. The cottage felt empty, hollow, like a shell of its former self. I wandered through the rooms, touching the furniture I had built with my own hands, each piece a testament to our shared life. The divorce was messy, acrimonious. Isolde fought for everything she could, her lawyer arguing that she deserved a significant share of our assets. I refused to back down. I was entitled to nothing less than everything. During the divorce proceedings, I learned more about Caspian Thorne. He was a notorious womanizer, a man who preyed on vulnerable women. He had a string of affairs behind him, leaving a trail of broken hearts and shattered lives. Isolde was just another notch on his belt. The revelation filled me with a cold, burning rage. I couldn't let him get away with it. He had destroyed my marriage, my happiness, and I was determined to make him pay. I hired a private investigator, a discreet and resourceful man named Cuthbert. I tasked him with digging up dirt on Caspian, anything that could expose his true character. Cuthbert didn't disappoint. He uncovered a series of financial irregularities, shady deals, and unethical practices that implicated Caspian in a major fraud scheme. It was enough to ruin him, to destroy his career and reputation. I presented the evidence to Isolde's firm, knowing that they would have no choice but to take action. Caspian was immediately suspended, pending an internal investigation. The scandal made headlines, his name dragged through the mud, but my revenge didn't stop there. I contacted Caspian's wife, a kind and unassuming woman named Millicent. I told her everything, the affair, the lies, the betrayal. She was devastated, heartbroken, but she was also grateful for the truth. Millicent left Caspian, taking their children with her. He was left alone, his career in ruins, his family shattered. He had lost everything just as I had. In the aftermath, I found myself adrift, lost in a sea of grief and anger. The cottage felt like a prison, a constant reminder of what I had lost. I considered selling it, starting over somewhere new, but then something unexpected happened. Millicent reached out to me, thanking me for exposing Caspian's true nature. We started talking, sharing our stories, our pain. We found solace in each other's company, a shared understanding of the betrayal we had both endured. Over time, our friendship blossomed into something more. We discovered a shared love of art, of literature, of long walks in the countryside. We found comfort in each other's arms, a warmth that had been missing from our lives for so long. Millicent helped me heal, to forgive, to move on from the pain of the past. She showed me that love could still exist, even after such profound betrayal. She became my anchor, my confidant, my partner. We eventually sold the cottage and bought a small farmhouse in Devon, a place where we could start anew, away from the shadows of our past. We filled our home with laughter, with love, with the promise of a brighter future. Isolde, on the other hand, never recovered. Her career faltered, her reputation tarnished. She drifted from job to job, never finding the success she had once craved. I heard through mutual acquaintances that she was lonely, bitter, and filled with regret. I never gloated, never sought revenge. I simply moved on, creating a new life for myself, a life filled with happiness and love. I had learned a valuable lesson. That betrayal can be a catalyst for change, a stepping stone to a better future. And that sometimes the greatest revenge is simply moving on and finding your own happiness.